or some other place. This is the outlet into the stream, and you really can't see it on the video, but it does cloud the water, a bit. So there's definitely, it's not exactly reclamated water. I mean, it's, good enough for a stream, I guess. But I don't know if I'd eat any fish below there. But people do what they want to do. This is just a field. Used to be the part of the backers. I guess the town had bought it, and the backers still maintain it. And they put up a new row of pine trees there. So, and this is the stream right at the intersection of Ironia Road and the sewage treatment plant. And there's a nice little pool there for fishing. But like I said, it's downstream from the sewage plant, so you actually see a little mink or something one day over there, a little otter, some kind of, it was small, but it was one of those kind of animals. It was kind of interesting. Haven't seen it since, though. There's a sign outside, and it says, water reclamation facility. I think that's what they call it. I don't call it a sewage plant for some reason. I guess being honest is scare people too much or something, or, they don't want people to get the wrong impression, and so they put swans in a pond so people will get some kind of impression. So this video, we're heading towards the mud hole now. We're back at the intersection of the Patriots Pass, and so here's the, every 100 feet or so I take a new clip, and so we're just moving along the path here. And it's pretty rustic. The stream, the brook from the mud hole actually runs right alongside this path, so about, in places it's, 10 feet, 20 feet right off this path. So right there, it's right next to the path, and so that's the stream coming out of the mud hole. I don't know what that's called, but, mud hole stream or something. And so you just more going forward here, about halfway, or I don't know, a third of the way, there's a little path that goes across a little bridge across the stream, and you end up in some development there. I don't know which one it's called, but some street, and so with houses and whatnot. And it's right there, I think. Yeah, there's the bridge right there, so that'll take you back to civilization. And if you keep going forward, like I said, we're heading towards the bottom of Mountain Avenue now. And there's a farmer, and his fields there. Got a big field there. And didn't see any deer on this day, so but did see Sasquatch a couple of times there, hiding behind trees and such. But you didn't. It's hard to video them. You know how they are. So we're going along here. It's just the path. It's kind of a ratty path. It gets kind of muddy and all that. They're supposed to be fixing it, and it was supposed to probably be done this year, but I guess it's been put off another year. They're gonna figure out some kind of more substantial path material to use, I guess. It's just these these trees get nice in the autumn on this field. It's kind of a nice place to take a view of the color, because you kind of get a nice broad perspective. But like this was a few days before things, color started getting really good, so there's only a few trees that are at their best. And it was a gray day, windy. So, I probably could have done without that. So here's a little crossing of the stream. And, these little cement tubes of cement, I guess they cast, and they chain them up there. They work quite well as a stream crossing. It's the kind of thing they probably should have used instead of, the bridge they built at the mud hole. So as as you get closer to Mountain Avenue, there's more and more houses you'll see from the path. And so we're getting pretty close to the road here. There's the car parked in the parking lot at the mud hole. So, more step here. There we are. So there's the pond. It's dredged a couple of years ago, so it's still pretty deep now. So it stays pretty clean looking. And used to have a couple of swans in it that were really nice. You know, they were in there for a few years, and unfortunately they were breeding some down at the sewage plant, and I guess they all got killed by a fox, or most of them got killed by coyotes or fox or something. They got under the fence, I guess. And then the two they had in there, actually, they were going to clip their wings, but they flew away before they got around to it, so that was the last we saw them. But that was kind of a nice effect. It's just too bad now that the pond's all cleaned up that you know, the swans are gone. But they probably wouldn't like it as much now that it's clean, as it's deep, and you know, they eat a lot of algae and stuff that grows on the bottom, so there wouldn't be as good of feeding opportunities for them. But you know, it's a nice spot. This bridge is only about a year old, and you know, it ended up costing about $40,000 or $50,000 when you add it all up. And you know, it's a nice, substantial bridge, but it's probably a little more bridge than was necessary here. You know, but it sort of blends in now, so it's you get used to it, and it's, you know, kind of nice. But I don't think people really use it that much. It's not a vital crossing to make, you know, for many people. The fence is sort of getting a little bit deteriorated here. If you look real careful here, I think, hey, look at that. See that? See, that's the mud hole Nessie. And what it does is it spits these wild, you know, walnuts into the air. And it makes this tremendous flashing when it does that. Really incredible. Here's the dam. You know, it's been around a long time. Keep doing